All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and welcome to this exciting presentation. Looks like we've got over 100 participants already and still growing. And because of that, we've got some administrative announcements on how to control a um, webinar of this size. And I'll turn it over to Kate in just a minute. But I just wanted to introduce myself. So I'm Mike Magner. I'm the State Volunteer Coordinator for Virginia, and I manage the MRC program statewide. And with me, I've got several other partners on this call. Adrenia Tolliver is our OEP training coordinator. She's going to be managing the conference itself, and she's there on camera now, smiling at you. I've got Kate Bausman, who is our Eastern Region MRC coordinator and training developer for MRC. So she wears two hats. And then I've got Laura Cash, who will be doing most of the talking tonight. She is our MRC program administrator at the state level. So we got a team of experts, excluding me, here to present on this great program we call VVHS. And so just again, thank you all for participating. I'll walk through what we're going to present on tonight in just a minute, introduce the topic. But first, I want to turn it over to Kate to give us some administrative announcements.
Yeah, I'll just very quickly, I do have my title that I like to give myself is Adrenia's sidekick, training sidekick. So just very quickly, just make sure that your mics are muted until potentially at the end, the very end, if we have questions, time for questions. We'd love to see your smiling face on camera if you would like, but make sure that you're aware of what's going on behind you if you do turn your camera on. And I will be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat and I will track them. And then as Laura has time to answer questions, I will get those to her and we will get all of your questions answered. And if there are some that don't make it through, we will get those, to you at the end. So any questions, just let us know. Thank you all so much. You all enjoy the presentation.
Great, thanks, Kate. And just a reminder, we are going to record this training tonight. So if for some reason you have to drop off early because you've got other commitments, feel free to drop off, and then afterwards you'll get an opportunity to review the training online based on the recording. Okay, so why we're here tonight. So we've got this exciting project that's just coming to fruition, or at least a big chunk of it has been released. So we're going to be talking about two acronyms, RISE, and that's RISE is an acronym for forget the whole acronym, but it's a grant through the National Association of City and County Health Officials. We got $75,000 initially, and then we got another $26,000 later. And it stands for RISE stands for Respond, Innovate, Sustain, and Equip. And so it's really an opportunity for us as a state program to upgrade our processes and systems. We use the Virginia Volunteer Health System as our emergency ESRVIP, which I'm blanking on right now, our basically our database for tracking our MRC volunteers. It's the same program. VVHS is what you guys, when you signed up to become MRC volunteers, you enrolled through VVHS and applied to become a volunteer, and then we approved your application, and then we manage your accounts. We also send out our alerts for deployments through the VVHS system. And you can go into VVHS anytime with your login and look at your own profile. You can update your own records. You can see where you are in terms of how many volunteer hours you've done. And so what we've done with this grant is we really focused on upgrading the volunteer side. So for those of you who've been around for a long time, you know that the VVHS system, is an old web-based system, and the look and feel hadn't changed for you guys in like 10 years. And it wasn't very intuitive, and it wasn't necessarily designed for you as the end user. And so that's what we really worked on improving through this project. So if you want to go to the next slide. So these were our initial objectives. So improve the ability of volunteers to select availability for deployments within VVHS. We didn't quite get that objective. The cost was prohibitive on that, but we did do some things, and we'll talk about that in a minute to improve that piece of it. Improve the ability for volunteers to provide feedback post deployments via VVHS. We didn't really do that one, but I'll explain why. With this last one, improve volunteer communication interface in VVHS to support volunteer engagement and recognition. So next slide. So those were what we initially thought of when we put our project proposal together. Again, what is VVHS? This is a picture of what the login screen. This hasn't changed. So if you go to vvhs.vamrc.org, this is what you'll see. You'll see your login on the right, username and password. There's a forgot password link. If you forgot your password, if it's been a while, you haven't logged in, you're welcome to log into this program while you're sitting on this webinar if you kind of want to look and see how these changes apply to you. Next slide. Oh, that's all the slides. Yeah, so one of the things, go back just to the project goals for a minute. I mentioned that we didn't quite get 1 and 2. So part of the project was we went and picked a group of volunteers that agreed to be on our project team. We bounced some ideas off of them. They gave us some feedback. They gave us some of their ideas of what they'd like to see in VVHS. And so we ended up prioritizing a list of proposed changes and worked with our developer to cost them out. We had to stay under that cost range. So one of the things that we wanted to do is if you log into VVHS, you'll be able to see the alerts in there and reply to the alerts directly in VVHS. We weren't able to do that in this round, but you will be able to see what alerts are pending in your profile. Like if you've received alerts and haven't responded, you'll be able to see those in there, but you'll still need to go to your email to respond to that. Now, one of the changes that should be coming out soon is you'll be able to respond from your text messages as well. And then we hope with a later development, we've got another grant that we've applied for to put that capability in. The other piece, improve the ability of volunteers to provide feedback post deployments. Instead of doing that, we've got enhanced information in your profile about who your MRC coordinator is and how to contact them. So in a way, we did kind of hit that, but it's not going through VVHS. It's just providing you with the information to contact. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Laura so she can actually show you what the new system looks like and what the changes were.
Great, thanks, Mike, and welcome everyone. If you don't know or haven't seen me, my name is Laura Cash, and I am the program administrator. I have been here since March of the beginning of COVID, so March 2020, and just seeing how we have improved VVHS for volunteers to be able to manage COVID and the quick onboarding of our volunteers, and now seeing where we're able to take it into the next generation of what it should look like. So thank you for being here, and please don't hesitate to ask. We've been talking about this a lot for a very long time, and we want to make sure that we give you guys all the information that you need. So just to start off, like Mike said, this is VVHS. So VVHS is the Virginia Volunteer Health System. This is where you originated your application. You may have started on our VDH website, and when you click to register, it'll take you to this page. And this is where you started. Click the little fun little blue button over on the left and filled out your application. And some of you guys may not know that your application ends up turning into your complete profile account. So the order of how you answer them ends up falling into how it displays on your profile later once it is approved. So this is also the same page, vvhs.vamrc.org, where you would sign in to manage your account. We know that through the development and changes of the Virginia Medical Reserve Corps, some people may have not even started from this page. I know that we have some people that are with us from 2010, 2011, so they may have never even started here. Their application was on paper and we imported it for them. So we just want to make sure that you're aware of this is where you go. This is where you can jump in to see your account and everything that I'm about to show you in a couple minutes. The dashboard originally looked something like this. We had some buttons on the right, some buttons on the left, some more buttons on the right, some lists, and it works well on a computer, but most of us that use it are coordinators and we use it on the computer. We've been hearing a lot from our volunteers that it's not very mobile friendly. There's some hesitation to using apps. App is the new word. But apps require a lot of coding, a lot of upkeep, a lot of money that we just don't have built in on a regular basis. So how can we do something that was mobile friendly, but not actually be an app? And so working with our development team, they were able to come out with a different, and I don't know that the actual title of it, but it's a way that they build items that can be mobile friendly. So it will just reorganize what we see to lay out a little bit better on smaller devices. Part of VVHS, which you guys see more regularly, is probably your volunteer alerts. You'll get an email, which is like something on the left, and you'll click the little button. So your email that you get, you have a small little blurb about what's going on and what we could use you to do. And then you click to let us know your availability. And once you click that link, it opens up the second window for you to see the full detail of the alert, the event information, what they're needing, if there's any roles or shifts that need to be filled, and you can sign up for those specifically, or they're just asking for you to respond if you are available or unavailable for a singular point. So most of you are probably familiar with this side, and that is part of our VVHS system. So our coordinators are able to go into VVHS and using our alert features, build these alerts and push them out to you, and they can arrive to you via email, text message, phone call, and all of these are based off of what you originally filled out when you completed your application in your profile. So these can always be changed. You can always update how you want to be communicated with. If you want to receive all three options, if you only want to receive emails, all of this is up to you. This is your profile. We are just aid in managing it and using this system to alert you. All right, so I'm gonna pause sharing for a minute so I can actually jump into our full presentation. So if you give me 1 second. Alrighty, so again, this is what we showed you is what your dashboard would look like when you're arriving. And let me go ahead and log in. All right, so this is a spoof account that we create and we use in the background. We use occasional spoof accounts or fake accounts so that we can play with some of the new settings that we have, some of the new features that we have, and not mess with actual data of our volunteers' information. But this is our way for us to test everything out. Also, as Mike may have said earlier, a lot of our developments most of the time are ideas, concepts. We have to code them while the team codes them. And then most of the time we don't really know if they're going to work until we put them into play. And so it takes a little bit of adjusting. You know, sometimes they say measure twice, cut once, but you might measure twice, cut once, and then measure again and cut again, and then measure and cut 2 more times. So we greatly appreciate our volunteers because I know that they are flexible and they are understanding as things are continuing to develop through this project. But this is what we have so far, and we are super excited to show it with you. On the left-hand side, now mine has this yellow bar across the top, but yours would not have that. You would just be directly in your profile. We've moved everything. There was like a sign out portion on the top right-hand side. There was my account. Everything was in different places. We moved everything over to the far left-hand side. And there is a way for you to collapse the menu based on like what type of computer screen or size that you're using. And then also if you shrink it down to like a mobile device or a smaller window, you would only get these little icons to the left. Originally, we didn't have these little icons. And so we wanted to offer those icons as reminders as to where to use these or what you're looking for, what you're wanting to update, and all those items. So the cool part about this is on the activity portion, under here, it now shows you how many deployments you've completed, the number of hours that you've served, and you also have a cool little button that you can click that'll take you to that page, and I'll do that in just a second. If you had any trainings that have completed, this of course is our spoof account, so I don't have anything here yet, but you can click this button and take you to your trainings. Any awards that have been awarded to you, we always like to do them in person or mail them to you as we had to do in COVID. But we are excited to have kind of like an award wall or honor wall that you would be able to see all the awards that you have received in one location. So as those things are awarded to you, they will pop up on your page as well. And then we have the some objectives. This is a section that can constantly be built out, but right now we have our Service Pin Awards, which is something that came into place during COVID. And so it's just a certain amount of hours that volunteers have served and they can earn their pins. There is a bronze, silver, gold, and a platinum. So when you're ready for the next level, after you get yours, it'll show you a new bar with your new amount of hours that you're looking to do. In this middle section is your recent alerts. So as you receive alerts, they will start to populate in this area. You see there's a 0% right now because I was not in a unit that sent me alerts during this time, but they every alert that you receive that you are qualified to participate in will pop up in that area. And you will also see your response. So it will say pending if you've not responded to it yet. It'll say available if you've responded that you're available. And this section is only a reflection of the responses that you have provided within your within your email responses. You currently cannot respond in VVHS, but we're getting there. We're heading in that direction. So we want you guys to be able to start using this dashboard, seeing the alerts that are coming through. So then you at least know, okay, let me go check my email and respond to that. I haven't responded to that one yet. So it'll be a great little check area for that. me try to refresh this and see if we can get that. We have also added a social media portion to the right-hand side, and then for some reason it's being weird for me today. But you'll see that there is social media, and right now we have the National Medical Reserve Corps listed. We know that a lot of our people do not have social accounts and would like to allow you to see what other people are doing across the state, what other people are doing across the nation. So we'll also have our Virginia Medical Reserve Corps also there for you to be able to scroll and see stuff and not miss out on anything if you don't have a social account. Scrolling down, we have our calendar, which will be your calendar. This is yours to manage. Right now, you are in charge of what you want to put on your calendar. And it's based off of events that our coordinators have loaded into VVHS, into the management system of options for you. You are able to add these items by clicking the follow event button, and then it'll refresh your screen and then take you back, and then that event is here on the 29th. So you can see any events that are coming up. This does not correlate right now with your responses. So just because you have it on your calendar does not mean that you will be a part of that event, just things that you're wanting to have on your calendar as an agenda for yourself. So you can decide if you want to put everything on there and just know what your units are doing, or if it's more so that you put on there when you respond that you're going to be doing something and you can have it on your calendar as more of an agenda. Also, we scroll down a little bit further. This is the section that says My District. So this is, I put our spoof account in the Peninsula District. And this is our actual unit coordinator, Rebecca Breedlove Berry, and her contact information and her phone number. We even have a cool little spot for them to put district messages. So it could be longer, it could be shorter, it could be a simple welcome, it could be maybe they are on vacation and somebody else is covering and they put that email address and phone number in there, just so if you want to make sure you're getting in touch with the right person at the right time. So that's a cool little box they can communicate to you with. And then they also have a pinned events section. So this is where the coordinators actually pin events that they want you to be aware of very specifically. So some of these, some units may have a pretty long list and other ones that may be pretty short, but this is also a way for your unit coordinators to say, hey, check this out, or this one's cool, or save this date. So that's another option. Also, we have for the coordinators a place for photos to be uploaded after events are done or during events, but they can upload the photos in there. And you can see this is, one of them is me, and that's all of our background investigations that we ran during COVID in paper that we had to organize and file. So it was taller than myself. I am 5'2", so it was pretty crazy the amount of things that we did during COVID. And then just another picture just to show you, but it will be a slideshow. You can kind of scroll through them as the pictures begin to develop and add there. Lastly, we have our help section. We know that you guys stay pretty in touch with your unit coordinators. And also we have the VA/MRC at vdh.virginia.gov inbox that we also get communications through. But we've added a frequently asked questions button. So if there's specific things that you're wondering, what is in my next step? What should I be doing? How do I do this? Where can I find this? This button will be that. So those questions will be aligned to after you've applied and, becoming a volunteer or being a volunteer. So we have another page that is for before you apply. That's frequently asked questions. We also know that we've had a challenge with email addresses and text messages not receiving our alerts, where they were receiving them and then all of a sudden they stopped. So this button right here is going to be super helpful for you guys to be able to try to trigger the system to start sending the information to you again. And it's not so much our system that's the problem. It's the in between. It's the email providers or the text service providers that usually has the issues that we can't get through because of something that's going on their side. Or sometimes it's also because something was marked as spam. And once a volunteer marks an email, any email from us as spam or as junk or whatever, we can't get any more through. So just be very careful as marking some of our stuff as spam on your side, because it's harder to fix. And then also, if you're not receiving the alerts, there's another button that will give you, and I'll go ahead and open this one because the first one will just push an email to you, but this one was actually a page. This is some alerting help. So if you have a specific provider like Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, Comcast, Apple, Outlook, Hotmail, any of those are general ones, these will take you to an external link that will help you on how to unmark a email as spam or as junk. And the biggest goal of that is to interact with your emails. So at least open them and read them, add them to your contact list. So those are some of the ways to try to make sure that the system doesn't mark them as spam. And sometimes it's not so much you pushing the button, it's also the amount of emails that we've been sending out. We had a lot of that during COVID because we were sending out so many emails that some of the systems thought we were a spam account. There's also text alert information. So how you can resolve it, some short codes to fix them. Down here is also the phone number that you can text to resume your text messages if you think something has gone awry and you want to get that started back up again. So that's the short code to text. So all of those are also on here as well. As most of you guys know, Train is an account that is created for you for our training. And it's not just our training, it's a nationwide training program, not just MRC, but a whole bunch of other organizations also use Train for training their employees or volunteers or individuals for whatever they need. So when you submit your application within 24 hours of being approved, so when the coordinator has approved your application, we've seen everything, reviewed everything, it looks good, we push it to approved, you will get an email saying that your application has been accepted, and then you get another email within 24 hours that says your Train information and how to reset your password. We know it's very confusing that we have two systems to do Train, and there's a really good reason why we do it that way. Because we have it integrated that Train dumps all of the information into our system. So we don't have to double report. It automatically does it for us. And it gives us access to a lot more trainings in there than we would be able to put on VVHS. So this button is a great way for you to be able to push, and it will send you an email with your Train username and the link to log into Train. We know there's been, some confusion that it is two different systems, and so we wanted to provide that button for you guys to be able to see that. Also, as you guys know, some of the FEMA courses, once you have to create an account outside of Train for FEMA, and they'll give you a student ID number, and that's what all of your certificates will be awarded to, is that student ID number, or you need that student ID number to sign up for those courses as well. There is a way for it to be reported within your VVHS account, but you have to go through Train. So here's just some quick steps of how to log into where you go to log into Train. You go to your profile, you can add your number in there, and then when you save it, within the next 24 hours, so overnight when our systems talk to each other, it'll submit your student numbers into your VVHS account. All right, so at the top we have view my deployments. This takes you to your profile, or what it's called, my account. And it will take you to the exact page within your account that this would be seen. So if you wanted to see all of your deployments, you can go under the my account section, which is on the left-hand side, and then you can go down to deployments, or you can just click the button on your front dashboard, and it will take you to this page anyways. So then you can see a summary of what you did, the dates that you served, and then this is also an option for your trainings as well. You can click the training button, it'll take you to the training page and list all of that out. You also have an easy way to get your deployment summary. Now it'll download it immediately for you, but it's just a PDF version of what you see on the screen if you need to provide it to an employer or any other agency that you may be wanting to report out your volunteer hours. All right, I'm gonna go back to my dashboard. I'm gonna show you a couple cool little things at the top for our notifications. The notification banner is mostly new. We've added some new notifications that will be in there. So you can be reminded, if you don't have a profile photo, that's generally what we use to make your ID badges. Instead of having to get a new one from you, we ask that you give us a headshot when you apply, but we don't make that required when you apply because we don't want you to get stuck trying to upload a photo in your application. And that's something that we can do on the back end. So it's not required at application, but it is helpful as we're moving you through the process and readying you for your ID badge. So you can click the button and it'll take you to that portion of your profile to allow you to upload your photo. Now, if you needed to change your photo, if it's an older photo, you want a newer photo, you're welcome to do that. It wouldn't so much prompt a new badge, but it is a good way for us to see your face, and it helps remind the coordinators who they're looking for at the day of the event. So there, it just took me to my profile, and then my photo will load. It's moving a little slow for me, but on here you'd be able to change your photo as well. All right, and then we also have the new portion is about the email issues. So as we were talking about, there's sometimes failures for delivering emails. You've marked it as spam. So some things that may have just been not done on purpose, but not aware of, but this will help you know that there are email issues going on. And this information will be super helpful for your coordinator to figure out how to problem solve it. So if you see anything in your notification about an email issue, you could reach out to your coordinator and go through that to problem solve. And then there's also the troubleshooting page will take you back to the one that we've already seen about troubleshooting your stuff. So I think I have only one more big exciting part, and Mike can confirm if I'm missing anything or not. And then we'll go to any questions that we may have at that time. All right, so we have a training video section. This is super exciting. Now, clarification of the training videos that will be in here. These will be items that are just helpful information that'll help you understand how to use VVHS, maybe understand certain metrics that we measure. So we have an alert response rate. A lot of people don't know about what does that mean? How do I make my response rate higher? So there's different things that we can upload into this video section for you guys to be able to watch And we're going to keep them super short. So the goal is to keep them like 2 minutes or less so you can find the topic that you need, watch what you need, and then move on. Some of your coordinators may upload videos specifically for your unit. There might be something that they just want to say a welcome video and tell you what the next steps are, but it's not so much something that's going to keep you from being deployed if you don't watch it. Just extra little helpful items here. So when you open it up, if you choose, find what you need, and you go to your test video, you can watch the video and it'll play within this screen here. And then once you finish watching it and you get to the end, it will log that you completed watching it, and we can see that you know, you did watch it. If we ever need to update anything, if something is minimally different, like our VVHS videos, because we're constantly changing and upgrading and getting to the next level, we can do a last updated date. So this video was originally, this is actually one of our old commercial videos. I think it was maybe 10 years ago. I'm not really sure. But we just created this entry on 5/22. But if I were to do a new video, new commercial, whatever, we could put it in here, override the video, and then you guys will see that there's a new video option. So it'll say last updated, and then it'll give you the new date. And then your name will always be listed that you watched the video, but it might be that you watched an older version and maybe your coordinator says, hey, there's a newer one, go check it out. And then you can watch it again, and then it'll log you again as taking a newer training video. So that is pretty much everything that we've been able to do for the volunteer side. I guess the other question is, the next question is, you know, why? What is this for me? What does this do for me, right? Why do I need to use VVHS? Well, the one exciting thing is that we're heading in the direction that you'll be able to respond within VVHS. So getting in, getting used to it is going to be super fun. We're going to get to where if you accept an event, it's going to go directly onto your calendar. We're not there yet, but we're heading in that direction. So we want you guys to get in this, play with it, see what you needed, what you can do with it. We also, it's a way for you to be aware of what your unit is doing. So maybe you're not going to all of the events that you're being aware of, but at least you can kind of see stuff that's happening around you. The photos at the bottom, communications from your coordinator. So just some fun stuff like that. Also, you get to access your information. So this account right here where it says my account, and we go to overview, this is your entire application that you originally submitted. So you can come in and you can update your address within here. You can update your phone number. You can update how you want to be communicated to. You can update emergency contact information. So there's a lot of things in here that you can come in and manage. If you have licenses or certifications, CPR licenses, DHP licenses, all of those you can come in and do and manage these yourself. So that's also too, we're giving you some great tools and resources in your hands, and we want this to work for you. Kate, I'm gonna go ahead and open up any questions that we may have.
Sure, we have one about the videos. So can you kind of go over that a little bit more? And then specifically, she wanted to know if there are any videos uploaded.
So no, yes, there is a video uploaded, but it is our old one. We still labeled it as the test video. This whole upgrade went live on Monday, and we wanted to have this meeting with you guys early because we know that some people actually use the system, and we don't want it to be a surprise. We don't want you to be confused. So we wanted to make sure that we got this information to you now. And if you are logging in, we didn't want you to be like, what the heck's going on? So we wanted to make sure that we communicated up front what was happening. 2 is we're still playing with it and we're still getting everything uploaded. The coordinators just got their demo today. So they are seeing everything that you're seeing, but they saw the backside of what the coordinators do for you to be able to see what you can see. So you can get in now and look at it, but it'll slowly be developing over the next couple of months. The end of this project will be the end of June. So we have our current We call them milestone 1 and milestone 2. Both of those were what was sent out and live right now. And then we're going to have another one at the end of June. So, just keep an eye out over the next couple of months, because we're just going to keep improving and keep developing and just get in and play with it. So right now there is only that one that is labeled the test video that you can see right now, and it's actually one of our old VA-MRC commercials. So you can watch it if you want. It's not anything private, but I don't know if that answers the questions, but just new training videos will be uploaded. You can always check back in when your coordinator may send you a link and say, hey, go watch this. So that's pretty much, they're just readily available to you guys.
Yeah, and this is Mike. I just want to expand on something Laura said. So this just rolled out Monday night. Yesterday was about finding and fixing bugs. Today is about telling people about the changes. But a lot of your personal page where it's got the unit coordinator information, the unit coordinators have to go and fill that in and upload a photo and put all that stuff in. So some of them may not have had the opportunity to fill all those in. Training videos will continue to be added as they're developed and created. And again, these are really designed to be quick tutorials. The bulk of your training will still be through the train system, like we've always done it. These are just really, I think the first few videos are going to address how to use the new features in VVHS. And then maybe, like Laura said, okay, you've just registered as a new volunteer. What's the next step? So small things, but not like training that's required for deployment.
Great, thanks guys. Here's one that's sort of alert related. Are we considered non-responsive if an event expires very quickly before we can note available or unavailable?
It's a good question. I'm not familiar with that detail of if I would assume so, but I mean, I guess also it's not really your fault that you couldn't get to respond because they fill up so quickly. So it is something we could look into to make sure that that is an even playing field. And I will talk about the response rate because you guys will see it. So the response rate is just that you say you're available or not available. So I know some people probably see the alert and then just say, oh, that date doesn't work for me, and then don't click that you're unavailable, because that information is super helpful. And then we have a way with our alerting features that if we don't get any responses from from a certain section of volunteers, so we may get some say available, some say unavailable, and then non-responsive, you may get another alert again asking for more people because maybe we didn't get enough people. And so we hadn't heard from you, so we're going to email you again. So just going in, no is an acceptable answer, not available is an acceptable answer, because you're communicating. And that's all we want to see, is that you're communicating with us. So that's super helpful.
Yeah.
And that's what will raise your response rate.
And if I could just jump in and talk a little bit about the philosophy behind the response rate. So prior to COVID, we didn't deploy volunteers quite as often, and like once a quarter we had to do at least like one alert test to see if our volunteers were still out there and willing to respond, available, not available. And that response rate that they got was something that they were, was on their kind of report card as unit coordinators. Since COVID, we know that you guys get way more alerts than you can possibly respond to. So it's not like we're going to look at your response rate and kick you out of the program, but it is just a metric that we used to track closely. Now we still track it, but not as much. And again, it's not like punitive. It's just for you to be aware of what your response rate is. That's all it's for. So don't get too worked up if you miss a response and then your response rate goes from like 98% to 96%. Like there's no response rate police that are going to come and get you.
Yeah, no, it's just something fun to watch. And that's why we also added the metrics on there for you to see how many hours you've had and how close you are to your pen. So just some fun things to keep you engaged, because I know not everybody can deploy all the time, and you can just at least see your profile change and move if you're not deploying, but at least responding. So it's just something fun. We're not alert police. at all. Anything
can-
else, Kate?
Yep. Can you describe how this upgrade impacts mobile view?
So yes, you can go ahead, use your mobile browser. I can't show it from my computer. I didn't take any screenshots. But just go to vvhs.vamrc.org and you'll log in with your information, and it makes everything into a scrollable layout. So it smushes it but stacks it on top of each other, and it's readable, so it's not smushed as and made smaller, but they're stacked on top of each other, and you kind of scroll like you're scrolling through Facebook to be able to read the pages. And it's super helpful. If you had tried to use it before, it was an absolute nightmare, so we're hoping that will be helpful. And then the menu is actually across the top instead of on the side, so you have more space for reading what the context is. And then at the very bottom, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, we also have a button. I know it's not at the very bottom, and it's just always at the bottom of the screen, I'm sorry, to take you back to the top. So if you're scrolling down and you're like, okay, I want to go back to the top, or I want to go to a different tab, there is a small button there, always on the screen, that will take you back to the top of the page.
Yeah,
Awesome. Instead of having to flip it sideways and like
Right.
twist it all around.
Scroll.
Yeah, so you scroll down instead of across and down like you would under the old version. And the icons, instead of being on the side, they go to the top of the screen. And as you scroll down, the icons are still up there. So if you decide you want to go to a different page or look at something else, you don't have to scroll back up to the top to find it. So it just, I think what Laura said, log into it from a phone and check it out, and you'll see the difference between what it looks like there and on your screen on the computer.
Awesome. Okay, we've got a non-VVHS related question, but I think important. Will MRC volunteers receive new polo shirts to use at events instead of our COVID t-shirts?
Yeah, so right now we don't have funding for COVID t-shirts or new shirts or polo shirts. We do have a grant that we've applied to, and we've put some funding in there for some t-shirts, but we haven't gotten approval for this grant yet. And so I can't right now, I have to say no, but maybe at some point in the future, there will be new t-shirts or new MRC uniforms that we can hand out. I'm probably not going to have enough funding to give to every single one of our 26,000 volunteers because we don't have millions of dollars, but we could probably start giving them out to people at events. So as they show up for an event and volunteer, we can hand out t-shirts at those, in smaller numbers for those who show up for events.
And I think some units do have just the plain red ones, right? I would check with their coordinator.
Yeah, some of the units ordered the red ones when we did the last go around, where we had about $15,000 for t-shirts. So some of them have the red ones, the bright red. Some of them like the color I'm wearing, and some of them still have the maroon ones, and then some still have the blue COVID ones.
Okay. Is there going to be a way to accept part of an event? Some start while some of us are still at work, but we can still help.
Right now it's based off of the coordinators and what they load into the position options or the alert choices. Sometimes they can divide those into smaller chunks, but a lot of times it's based off of the health department and some other metrics. But occasionally some units put in there a wait list option. So if you, are available and all of the spots are filled, you could do a wait list option if they provided it. We are looking with the further developments, which could be about 8 months plus out, if we get approved for this other funding, that would potentially allow you to just mark that you are available for a part of a shift, and then it's not going to necessarily sign you up per se, but it would give the coordinator information that if they couldn't fill the spots, then maybe it's better to just get somebody for a partial shift than not having someone for the shift at all. So it is something we're looking into. It's not a feature yet at this time.
Okay, now we have an alert. It was like about a specific alert that somebody received. Maybe you can reach out to the vamrc.org box with that information and they can help you with that specifically. Can you give that email address, Laura?
Yes, it's VAMRC at vdh.virginia.gov. And I can change my screen to my last slide.
Yep. Hey, and while you're doing that, there's a couple of questions about ID badges. So, all MRC coordinators are supposed to, all the MRC coordinators are supposed to make sure that their volunteers all have ID badges for MRC. And typically you get them soon after you first sign up and become approved. We do have a process for them to request badges and print badges locally. But if you've got a badge, it's going to show you as having a badge. But if you want a new one because your picture's changed or it's really old, just contact your local MRC unit coordinator, and then they can put in a badge request for you. We've just created a new reporting format on the coordinator side that allows them to track ID badges and badge requests. We've purchased equipment for them recently to print them locally. But if they don't have that capability, we also have a contractor in California that mails us badges once they're printed. So there's a couple of different ways we can handle that. But yes, the quickest way is to just contact your local unit coordinator.
Yeah, and there's some more questions about responding to full alerts. If the alert is full, there's no functionality for you to be able to respond available because it won't take that. So
Yeah,
like Laura said, if there is a lot of coordinators have started putting on wait lists. So if there is that option, you can do that.
Yeah, and Kate, that's something we may want to take back for future developments, like, was available, but alert was full, just so that you could record that for your response rate, your availability rate. And then, that also lets your coordinator know that, hey, you want to sign up for things. And then that way, they can start thinking about other opportunities that they might want to use volunteers. If they got more volunteers, wanting to be available than they can handle for that particular event, that's good feedback for them to know as well. So we'll have to take back that to our developer, though.
Yeah, there's a comment here about being able to indicate at least that you've seen the email but can't respond due to expiration full. Somebody is asking again to explain how to log into VVHS.
Okay, so let's see. I don't have the chat box. Let me see if I can find it.
Responding via text is not functional yet, but we're hoping for that to happen with the next updates.
Yeah, that should happen by the end of June, the ability to respond via text. And the reason we don't have that is because when VVHS was first created years and years ago, a lot of volunteers didn't have the ability to receive text messages, or if they did, they didn't have the ability to click on a link and open up a web browser on their phone. So if you think about some of the old cell phones we used to have, didn't have that capability. And so the only purpose of the text was to tell you to go check your email so that you could go in your email and then click on the button and go to the web page. So that's something now that, of course, the technology's changed. We can do that now. So that should be coming by the end of June.
So yes, I think this is the easiest way to show you. VVHS.vamrc.org. That's the web address to go to sign in. Everyone who is a volunteer has an account. You have a username that you set when you signed up, and you have a password. So if you don't remember those items, that is completely fine. You can push the button on the bottom right that says forgot username or password, and it'll be based off of the email address that you used when you applied. So if you think that you may have a new email address now and you never updated it, try one of the old ones. Hopefully you have access. If not, email us and we can get you access. So it's not a lost cause, or talk to your coordinator and we can get you in.
And we could answer those separately. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you guys. Thank you, Laura. Thanks, Adrenia. Thanks, Kate. And thanks to everyone who participated tonight. Hope to see you on VVHS at a time nearby and out at the many deployments. And again, thank you for all the great things that you do on behalf of Virginia every day. This program would not be a success without you. So you guys just thanks and have a good night.